What does PUNE mean? Is it department?
It's a city. It's a city in the state of Maharashtra, ma'am.
I can't hear.
It's a city, Margaret.
A city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tech Divinity Pune is a city, is it?
It is
Pune.
Pune. It is
Pune.
pronounced as Pune.
Good afternoon, Rohan sir. Our General Secretary of Maharashtra Mandal has also joined us. So welcome, Rohan sir.
Thank you, sir.
Amit sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
Shirish.
Till we start, shall we play some videos?
Yeah, you can play IPLA video, which.
Yeah, yes. Manish sir, can you play video?
Yeah, which video, sir? Means you have two
First
video
one,
actually.
first one. Hello, Karen ma'am. Welcome.
Hi, Karen.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Apologies.
Hi, Karen.
Yes. IPLA first. Okay.
Who am I handing over to? Is it Nigel or Karen?
Margaret, just we'll just be introduced bit by bit. So just I think the intention is to play a video at the moment, the IPLA video. But I can't see anything happening at the moment. So
I just thought I could end up by saying over to whoever it was who's going to talk really first.
I think is it Shirish who's going to talk us through it, Amit?
Yes.
Yeah. Video at the moment, the IPLA video.
Yeah. Actually, we are waiting for a few attendees to
Can't see
and
anything happening at
some
the moment,
dignitaries
so
to join.
I just thought I could end up by saying over to whoever it was who's going to talk really first.
It's about first steps
I think is it Shirish who's going to
and active play.
talk us through it, Amit?
Yes.
It's about being
Video
active
at
with
the moment,
friends
the IPLA video.
Yeah. Actually, we are waiting for a few
And
attendees
family.
and some dignitaries to join.
I just
It's
thought I
about
could end up by saying
recreation.
over to whoever it was who's going to talk
And
really first.
being outdoors. About first steps. It's about learning
I think is it Shirish who's going to
and active.
Shirish, please, can you mention the sequence of the program so that everyone is aware when people are going to speak?
Yes, ma'am. First, I will be introducing both the institutes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So first, I will be introducing both the institutes. Then I will hand over it to Amit Malik sir to talk about the benefits to launch such programs in India. Then I request Rohan Damle sir to share his views. After Rohan sir, Margaret ma'am will talk. After Margaret ma'am, Professor Nigel and Professor Karen will share the details of the course. After that, there is a panel discussion which will be held by Dr. Shraddha Naik. There are some few questions and answers will be held at in the discussion. And after that, Ankit will discuss about the application forms and about how to enroll for the course. So this will be the program sequence.
Thank you, Shirish.
Yeah.
I think that makes it a little clear.
Yeah. Yes. I think we should start, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's already
Let-
10 minutes.
Let's begin. Let's begin.
Let's begin, Amit sir. What do you say? Yes. Okay. So it's very good afternoon and good morning to all. I, Dr. Shirish More, on behalf of Chandrasekhar Agashe College of Physical Education, Pune, and IPLA UK, welcome all the dignitaries and participants who are present here for this webinar on launch of International Certified Physical Literacy Program. Now I will introduce both the organizations. Let me share some presentation. Is it visible? Presentation is visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So International Physical Literacy Association UK envision to help everyone adopt physical activity for life by facilitating and promoting physical literacy by making inclusive, purposeful, and engaging physical activity for everyone, and by encouraging stakeholders to promote physical literacy. IPLA believes physical literacy practitioners will develop own practices and engage in best practices by developing greater depth of the concept of physical literacy. Moving, yes. Okay, so moving on to Maharashtra Mandal, Chandrasekhar Agashe College of Physical Education is India's premier institute in physical education, teacher education, offering a range at programs right from certificate course, bachelor's, master's degree programs, and research programs. Vision of CSCP is social transformation through health, physical education, and sports. The mission of the college is to develop sensitive human resource catering health, physical education, and sports in transforming society through service, innovative strategies, academic programs, and age research, and leading the community in creating knowledge, health, physical education, and sports. Our institution is in its centennial year and is instrumental in promoting physical culture, preserving the traditions, and also keeping up with the modern trends. And I'm really glad that we are teaming up with the international institutes that works on similar values and philosophy. And I'm sure that collaboration will be very fulfilling and help us reach the whole Indian continent for promoting physical literacy. At this outset, I extend hearty welcome to dignitaries who are present here. Professor Margaret Whitehead, President IPLA, Professor Nigel Green, Chair IPLA, Professor Karen Rice Jones, Lead Education and Training IPLA, Mr. Rohan Damle, General Secretary Maharashtra Mandal, Dr. Vivek Pandey, Vice Chancellor LNAP, Dr. Deepak Mane, Director Board of Sports and Physical Education, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. He will be joined shortly with us. Then Dr. Amit Malik, IPLA Country Head for India, Dr. Sopan Kangne, Principal CSCP Pune. I again thank you all the participants and dignitaries for their presence. Here today, we are very happy to mention that certification program in physical literacy will be formally launched in the webinar session. Applications and details of the course will be shared towards the end of the webinar. I now invite Dr. Amit Malik the key person for this linkage to share about the relevance of such course in India. Over to Dr. Amit Malik, sir.
Thank you, Shirish, and very warm welcome to all, I would say, physical literacy ambassador, enthusiasts, and future collaborators. This has been a very, very satisfying moment for us in India and personally for me as well. Because physical literacy as a term is gaining reasonable traction all over. The term is getting popular, but with that popularity also become important that the right understanding and the purest understanding is also delivered through the formal academic programs. So this was a conversation which I started almost a year back, and extremely grateful to Agashe College Pune to help us realize it together. So just an initial thought that can we do a formal academic program which become a starting bed for launching many programs in the futures to come. So really grateful to Agashe College, first of all, to taking that first institution in India to take that leap of faith, to work together with IPLA so that more and more learners can understand the real meaning and impact of physical literacy. And I see that two parts of it. I see is a huge opportunity because everywhere post-COVID, I'm going, the word sports is being slowly replaced by physical literacy in normal jargon. So there's an opportunity to influence more and more people through physical literacy. And challenge as well that how to deliver a program which is world-class but still contextualized to the learners of India. So with this opportunity and challenge, I'm sure that together as a team, we would be able to give a meaningful start to a formal dissemination of physical literacy related literature as well as perspective. And I'm thankful to Agashe College and IPLA to be part of this collaboration for years to keep on delivering such wonderful program. And my best wishes to all of us to ensure that all of us meet the quality standard and keep our participant very engaged in this unique course. Thank you.
Actually, Amit sir, we should thank you. We, as a both institution, we should thank you to bringing us together for this noble cause. Thank you, Amit sir. Now I request Mr. Rohan Damle, General Secretary of Maharashtra Mandal, to share his views on this linkage for promoting physical literacy. Mr. Rohan Damle, sir.
Thank you, Shirish sir. I hope everybody is having a good day so far. Firstly, I would like to say that I'm very happy to see Chandrasekhar Agashe College of Physical Education is coming together with the International Physical Literacy Association to conduct a course on physical literacy. Physical movement and exercise play a very important role in our lives. I believe that it not only addresses fitness and strength, but also helps people with their immunity and keeps overall health in check. With constantly evolving times, I think we are in a better place of having a sense of awareness regarding the importance of being fit physically as well as mentally. We at Maharashtra Mandal have always worked with an aim to promote physical activity and include a sport, either professional or recreational, in the youngest of age groups. At its inception itself, our organization had the mission to develop a physical culture in the society. It primarily began with the physical training of students to join the armed forces. Slowly and steadily, we incorporated traditional sports and went on evolving with the changing times. While still maintaining the quality of traditional sports training, Maharashtra Mandal is now approaching its 100th year with an array of sports and staying put with the ideology of promoting and motivating individuals to adapt a culture of physical fitness. I believe courses like these will help instill the notion that fitness must be a lifestyle choice. It will also educate people about the importance of physical literacy and to keep moving and engaging in some physical activity. I am happy that this course is being commenced at a college of physical education, as the students from here will go on to spread the knowledge and empower individuals to lead a physically active lifestyle. I hope that CACPE and IPLA remain associated in the future as well and keep conducting varied courses. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohan sir. Now it is my privilege to call upon Professor Margaret Whitehead, who has led the foundation to the physical literacy movement and who continues to inspire the global community to share her vision for physical literacy in India and throughout the world. Professor Margaret Whitehead.
Margaret, you need to unmute yourself.
Ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
She's just frozen.
Yes.
No, you're still muted, Margaret. Bottom left. Have you? Margaret, you're still
Margaret,
muted. At the bottom left, Margaret, of your screen, where you've got the video and the mute.
Yeah.
That's it. You should be okay
Yes,
now.
fine. Good. Well, I'm delighted to be here at the start of your course. I wish you all the very best, and I'm really excited to know that such good progress has been made by Indian colleagues to embrace and promote physical literacy. You're trailblazers and are leading the way in the East in setting up university-based courses in physical literacy. I look forward to following your progress as the weeks go by. So good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Shirish?
Yes, thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. So now we are really excited to listen to Professor Nigel and Professor Karen, who have curated this program and who are going to be lead educators to share more details on the course. Over to Nigel, sir, and Professor Karen.
Okay, namaste and good afternoon to everyone. I first of all would like to echo Shirish's comments about the work that Amit has done. He has worked tirelessly within India since I've known him, which is over 6 years now. And the way in which he works with people and brings people together is making and will make a real difference in India. I think it's a really exciting time in India as well. And as Margaret has just said, Agashi College is leading the way because Agashi were the first college that has joined with the IPLA and decided to run a certificated course with credits. So that's a really exciting opportunity. And the other thing is that the Supreme Court in India is suggesting that physical literacy is a fundamental human right and that all children in school should have 90 minutes of free play and games every day, which, as we know, will be superb and will influence lives in the future. However, we also recognize that in order to provide this 90 minutes of quality experiences in schools, we need a trained workforce who is able to do that. And this is where this course can have an impact. If we can train the teachers of the future and get them to understand the concept of physical literacy and then apply the concept to their work in their physical education lessons, then that will make a difference. If we can also work with teachers who are currently practicing and get them to reflect on what they're doing and how it's impacting on the children, then that will also have an impact. And I know we've got some questions later, and those go very much towards answering it. I would like now to pass on to Karen. Karen is our education and training lead, and myself and Karen, along with Shraddha, Amit and others, have been involved in developing the course. So Shirish, I think you've got the presentation that you can put up, and then Karen will be able to talk through the presentation, if that's okay.
Yes. So shall I share the presentation?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Is it visible, ma'am?
It is, yes, please. If we can just move the slides on a little,
Yes,
please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So I directly move on to the, yes, about the course, right?
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Absolutely delighted to be with you today to share about the next steps of India's journey in terms of physical literacy. I think that as the concept is being understood, and we want our young people to be supported and helped along their own physical literacy journey, it is so important that we look at our own physical literacy journeys as practitioners, as teachers. So hopefully what the course will do, what this will enable us to do, is to think about our practice and be quite reflective of our practice. So this is the first physical literacy program for India. We've worked really hard. We've worked tirelessly in terms of from the IPLA's perspective to make something that is valid and appropriate for colleagues in India. And we hopefully think of how we can actually equip our practitioners and our teachers moving forwards. Thank you. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the overview of the program. So it's about what we look at is 2 academic credits for 30 hours. So there's an engagement and involvement in terms of time, and the team of us that will be delivering. It's from members of the IPLA, but also from colleagues in India, and we'll introduce everybody afterwards. And it's really thinking about how we can improve our own practices. If we need to think of systems change and systems leaderships, what we need to think about the future is equipping practitioners in terms of developing the concept of physical literacy in India, but in terms of their knowledge and understanding, but also how we can put this into practice. An awful lot of the program will be interactive, but also very reflective. We'll be questioning and thinking about what we are currently doing and thinking constantly about how we can actually improve. So we will look at how we can develop our own competency, our own confidence, as we enhance the delivery for our children and for our learners. Next slide, please. So our start date is going to be the 14th of May. So we've got a few weeks to go. So a few weeks as an opportunity to explore and sign up for the program. So what we're looking at is 10 sessions, and each of the sessions are going to be 3 hours each. It's going to be online, and what we're going to do in between the 30 hours, in between the sessions, is opportunities for you to reflect, for opportunities for you to practice, opportunities for you to think what of the messages that we are sharing, the messages that we're exploring. We'll be able to put those into practice and bring those back into the subsequent sessions. Next slide, please. So this is going to be run over 5 weekends. So we're going to do this at weekends on a Saturday and a Sunday, which hopefully will enable, in terms of our work programs, and enable us to attend. So these are going to run from midday until 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturdays and Sundays from the May the 14th. Thank you. So a little bit about the what we'll be covering. And we start off really with thinking, why is there a need to change our current practices? We may be thinking of that we're quite happy in our approaches, or indeed we might be thinking that we can change our approaches. But we start off with exploring what it means for us and why there is possibly a need for change in how we are delivering currently our physical education. We're going to understand the importance of a physical literacy journey. And what we'll look at is our own physical literacy journey, because it's really important to unpick that before we can start to think about how we can impact on the physical literacy journey of others. So an understanding of our own, from our own personal perspective, will be really helpful in contributing to the physical literacy journey of others. So we're going to reflect on our own and others' experience in physical activity. And again, from a holistic perspective, that experience is really important. So by thinking of our own personal experiences, again, it will hopefully help us consider the experiences that we're offering. If we reflect on our own practice, we will hopefully be able to provide a more meaningful, a more positive experience for our learners. Part of the programme is about charting progress, and charting progress related to each and everyone's physical literacy journey. So rather than just thinking it's how we can make more successful or elite individuals better, it's thinking about each and every child that we teach, about how we can move and we can ensure progress along each of their physical literacy journey. A lot of the course is going to be about connecting the theory to our own practice. Having an understanding and unpicking it will enable us to quite systematically think how we can do this and how we can improve and how we can get better. So ultimately, what we'll be looking at is planning those positive experiences, facilitating those positive experiences within our communities, within our environment, and within our structures. We have a very small role to play, and we need to think about how we can interact with our communities and environment to ensure that there is a multi approach to the work that we're doing. Part of the course is going to look at some strategies of how we can ensure that this positive, holistic, and the learning and development as we're moving through. There'll be an awful lot of self-reflection. There will be an awful lot of sharing and peer reflection, and also thinking about our institutional practices. But this is always going to be done from a very safe and very positive perspective, because we need to think about our own motivation, and we need to think about our own confidence on our own journeys as practitioners. So this is always going to be done in a very safe space and in a very safe environment. Thank you. So just a little bit about the team. So who will be delivering the sessions? So you've met Nigel already, who's the chair of the IPLA, who has more than 5 decades of experience in physical education, and also experience in physical literacy training, but also has been instrumental in terms of the implementation of the work in India. I'm delighted that I'm going to be part of the faculty delivery team. So my background following my role in secondary school physical education is that I am now a teacher trainer and a teacher educator around physical education. and engaging in the future workforce. In Wales, we've had a considerable physical literacy project that we've been able to lead and draw out in terms of education and the wider community. And I absolutely thoroughly enjoy designing, physical literacy workshops, and I'm absolutely delighted to be involved in the development of our course that we'll be delivering from May. Next slide, please. So we have Shraddha as part of our co-facilitator, and which will be super of giving for our India, ensuring that there is an India context. So with more than 20 years of experience in physical education, teacher education, working in academia and research, and very much a part of the global network with links to the Spectrum Institute in the United States of America. Dr. Amit has been instrumental in terms of the work that we've been doing in the IPLA as part of the education and training team, and has shared so much knowledge and given so much context to our workshops internationally. So with more than 6 years experience in physical literacy, advocacy and training, is very, very well placed to work as part of the co-facilitator team. And Dr. Sonali, similarly, one of our ambassadors, our IPLA ambassadors in India, has worked and contributed generously from her background in terms as a physician and coach and personal trainer, to give a different context and always keeps us in check in terms of our spirituality. Which is, and has been teaching me an awful lot in terms of that context. Thank you. So a little bit about the course pedagogy, and it's so important when we're thinking about the delivery, because our experiences in terms of the style of teaching, the interaction of teaching, will hopefully enable us to put some of those practices with our learners as well. So it's going to be about research, our own personal research on a level that is appropriate to us. Will be part of the discussions, and very much as it's not going to be something that is going to be done to you. It really is a part of an involvement in terms of the interaction. There'll be an awful lot of reflection and a journaling, a learning log, a continual process of understanding of where we are and how we can improve. We'll be posing problems of each other. We'll be questioning ourselves, and we'll be questioning each other, and we'll be trying to solve some of those problems and questions that we come up with. There will be presentations and discussions and opportunities to engage in some project work. So although it's online, there will be opportunities in between each of the sessions to try and put this into practice and to implement into practice. So it will give us a way that we can come back and check and challenge the work that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen ma'am, for the details of the course and the key components of the course. Now I request Dr. Shraddha Naik to take over the proceedings.
Oh, wow, already? Okay. Thank you so much, Shirish. Thank you all the previous speakers. I would now like to call upon all the dignitaries such as Professor Vivek Pandey, the Vice Chancellor of LNUP Gwalior, and Dr. Sopan Kangani and Dr. Deepak Mane. I guess he's not joined yet, but he's going to soon join us. So I have a question for Professor Vivek Pandey, sir. Is it okay if I ask you a question? You will have to unmute. Yes, sir. So as you know, the conditions that are here in India, firstly, my question is, can you suggest us some ways and means to increase or to enhance the mass participation in physical activity in India?
Madam, I think the most important thing is that as you are running this program of train the teachers, So it is the training of the mind that the people have to understand the importance of the fact. And this is a very complicated social network in India. How can you convince the parents first? How can you convince the students, those who are studying in schools and colleges? And then the younger ones, it is the same thing, the younger ones of the society. And of course, the elders are now understanding the importance of these things now. They've started understanding the things. So in my opinion, the present concept is that we are more concerned about the people to come out from the strong rooms of this computer and laptops. So we have to convince them somewhere, because we are seeing the status of health in the younger population throughout the world. It is not the problem in India only, throughout the world. So how best we can motivate them, as you in your total program also, competence enhancement and other things are there. So I think if they understand, if we achieve this competence enhancement, health enhancement, confidence enhancement, and all these things will automatically come in, because ultimate thing is the competence, whether it is physiological competence, intellectual competence, or whatever. So we have to make them understand, make them realize that not just the educational competence or the marks or whatever we are running behind, the jobs and other things. You just see the working hours of Indian youth, how many hours they are in their offices and what is their priority. This we have to understand, and this we have to, people are realizing it. I don't mean that they are not realizing the importance, but somewhere, somehow, they are not following in their life. So we have to make them understand that this is the importance, and this is what is the actual life, not the life which they are running behind, because they are losing many things, and there's a niche in this area to make them realize that what they want in life. What are they doing? What are they running for all these things? So it is the physical literacy, physical health, or whatever all-round status. It's the most important thing. So educating and making them realize, I think from the school level, from students level, we have to educate people. When they are in the schools, when they are in physical education classes, when they are working, coming to sports, for sports and grounds, we have to educate them and make them understand, realize the importance of this important area. That's the most important thing, I think, to start with. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor. So I understand that you mentioned physical education is going to play physical education classes per se are going to make a very important contribution in raising the physical literacy, or in fact, even increasing the physical activity levels of everyone in general. Is that what I understood?
Yeah.
My general question to Professor Nigel or Professor Karen would be, other than physical education, is there any other way in which we can, enhance physical activity levels of people in general, not just the school children?
I'll come in there, Karen, because I know you've done quite a lot of work already. I think there's quite a few ways, Shraddha. First of all, educating parents about the importance of getting their children physically active, and that's right from the word go. Encouraging children to explore their environment physically as soon as they're born, giving them lots of free playtime, getting them out, which, I know a lot of areas do, so they can explore the neighborhood physically, they can play games with their friends. That's all really important. Then, as we've just said, as Professor Vivek has just said, the important time of physical education, where the specialists can instill this confidence, this competence, this knowledge, understanding, and motivation in children. But then moving into adulthood, it's about having the facilities and the opportunities to engage in physical activity right the way through to older adulthood. And it's having different activities. For a lot of people, they want to play sport, and that's fine. Sport is fantastic. But for others, they might enjoy walking, they might enjoy cycling, they might just enjoy playing games, they might enjoy fitness activities, they might enjoy dance or yoga. And it's making sure that in schools, we provide them with the tools to enable them to enjoy a whole range of activities as they go older, and for the local communities to support that with facilities, but also by putting on activities, putting on events. I know Gopi-Chan has done a number of these where they've closed streets on a Sunday and had a whole range of dance and yoga and fitness activities, which are absolutely fine. So I suppose it's creating the positive, open and inviting environments that allow everyone, no matter what their ability or capability, to take part in physical activities.
Wow. Okay. So does that also mean that other agencies like government and maybe the local bodies are going to come into picture here?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the government at the start about the Supreme Court, and this is absolutely vital. The government need to understand the importance of physical activity. And I'm sure with all the work from UNESCO, the WHO, it's quite clear. The research tells us that physical activity is vital to the health and well-being of a nation. We know that, but governments have got to put their money in there to make sure these opportunities happen. That's both in school, by giving time on the curriculum for physical education, by giving trainee teachers the best opportunities to develop their skills, by supporting teachers in schools, but then by providing those opportunities and those facilities within the local community. Yeah.
Professor Karen, would you like to?
Thank you. And just to add to what Nigel has said, it's also about the, that focus on the experience, that unpicking of the experience, which becomes so important. And I think in terms of from a teacher perspective, from a practitioner perspective, who are the deliverers, I think that there's also that understanding that they might not actually be on their own physical literacy journey. So that opportunity, and certainly that's what we have found in previous training and previous workshops, is that as the teachers and practitioners or coaches are being familiar, are becoming familiar with the concept of physical literacy, they're actually questioning their own practices and realizing themselves that actually, I need to get back onto my own journey. So I think that almost by a default increases the levels of physical activity as we grow our awareness. So it's for me, it's about that the getting up the message widespread. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
I mean, you spoke my mind, exactly what I had in my mind. One more question to Professor Vivek Pandey, please. Sir, what are your thoughts on having some academic programs? I mean, do we require some academic programs to get everyone active for life, as in other than physical education programs?
Yes, madam, it's very, very important, because program is physical literacy to important somehow. Somewhere they back of the mind, they have the knowledge about that it is important. They are saying, or they always accept, everyone accepts. But to bring them to this thing, we have to make them realize that these are the things which sometimes a negative motivation type of things. Also, if you don't do these things, then these are the losses which you are going to have. And let me add to the previous thing that as Nigel has said, that it's the role of the governments also, that if in the neighborhood we don't have the facilities, then how can we continue with those things? Because every time is during school hours only, it is not possible for everyone to continue with that thing. So facility enhancement in the neighborhood, whether it's through government or the local government or the society as such, as we are seeing now, it is in multis and other things also. They have now parks within the society. So these things are important, but we have to educate the people somewhere. And I might look sometimes odd, even at school level also, sometimes we should force these things now. It's the time, because the mindset is like that, that unless we make the things mandatory somewhere, I might be looking odd, but this is the actual situation also. We have to sometimes force the things that this is mandatory for you. You have to do these things. We can force it by giving some grades or some motivational things or marks. So, or promotional things for additional grading, as we have in some of the courses in CBSE. We have these type of things, that additional grading you can have. So these things, somewhere we have to go, and we have to have some formal programs for these things. Add-on courses type of things are there, which need to be taken very, very carefully. And for the elderly people, elderly education, elderly people also, we should have some types of programs which are educating them, just knowing the value and make them realize that what we are losing without that is very, very important. Thank you.
I understand it. I understand it the way you said that we need to educate them. Apart from the regular PE physical education programs, we must have some add-on programs for everyone. We might as well think of having some credit course in physical literacy for engineering students and medical students and things like that, if I understand it correct.
Yes.
Absolutely. Professor Nigel, Karen and Amit Malik, I am coming back to you. If you could throw a light on how different this is going to be, this physical literacy program going to be, how different from routine physical education, teacher education programs, and how is it going to be helpful for even commoners?
Yeah, I think as we've often said, the important thing is for everybody to understand how our engagement in physical activity influences our lifelong engagement, and how our experiences, particularly at a young age, if they're positive, can have then a positive effect on our engagement. But likewise, if we have negative experiences in physical activity, then this can have a negative effect. And I think from a parent's point of view, that's really important. From a teacher's point of view, that's really important. So for them to realize, okay, so when I took my child swimming and they didn't enjoy it because it was too cold and the teacher was too strict, they ended up panicking and not liking it, that has affected them now for the next time I take them swimming. And if they realize that, they then have got to try and create the real positive, supportive, encouraging environments that we all need to help us develop. And that understanding is really important. And this is where teachers in schools then can reflect, and it's this reflection that Karen's mentioned a number of times, reflect on your practice. Are you considering each child as an individual with everything that they bring? And are your practices encouraging them to develop their confidence, their competence, their knowledge and understanding? If so, then that could have a big impact on their motivation to be active in the future. So I think that's the subtle difference. Whereas often PE courses are teaching about physiology and psychology, and they're not getting into the real understanding of a holistic individual and the things that influence them. Karen, I don't know whether you want to add to that, or Amit, of course.
I think for me, it's worth mentioning at this point that that sometimes the idea is that we deliver physical literacy as a program, as something that we can take, a resource that we can deliver, and that's not the case. It's that understanding that Nigel talks about. It's the unpicking. It's considering all of the elements of physical literacy in terms of of understanding all aspects of it and how they all contribute to the individual's experience. So I think it's just worth that adding is that we don't, deliver it as a program. It really is that understanding, and that's what we need to equip our teachers and our practitioners and our coaches and ourselves with. Thank you.
Dr. Amit, would you like to add to this? I guess.
Shraddha ma'am,
Yeah,
Sonali ma'am also has joined as a panelist.
wonderful. Okay, welcome, Sonali ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, am I visible? Hello, Shraddha, Dr. Shraddha. Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you.
Yeah. One more question that I have on my mind is I think we need a lot of research and a lot of surveys and try to understand the situation that's there. So I have a question for all the panelists. Maybe we can answer you all can answer it one by one. What are some of the key research areas that we work on with respect to physical literacy or getting people active or on the move, and how we can begin with it? Professor Pandey.
Hello. Yes. See, I think it's very important to it's a part of educating people. We have the database for something. We can have the understanding of this thing. How many people know about it? How many people understand about the concept of physical literacy? This is the most important thing. Once we make them realize that, see, this is not the only thing which we are getting through physical literacy, and that can be from database, people will be more keen to understand much and much about this program. Because as Nigel is working continuously for this thing, the thing is why we need, I have also learned about this terminology just a few days back. We were just limiting ourselves to physical education and sports. And we were adding something just as wellness and health-based physical fitness and sport. But this is a comprehensive terminology. So we have to understand this thing. We have to have the database for these things from people. We can have small blocks in a type of survey research first, and then followed by some type of experimental research. That is a secondary thing. But this type of survey research, and then we can make the people realize about the thing. See, this is what we are understanding it, but it is something more beyond that also. So once the people start realizing the importance of this area, then slowly they will start accepting the area, and they will be much more interested in learning and propagating this field much and much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think, that makes me think that CACP and LLIP can come together and start working on some research projects with the help of all these dignitaries and professors.
Yeah, we are always ready, and you are always welcome for that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
We have a type of commitment with IPLA also, that we will be always helping in these things, or they will be helping us in propagating this program in India.
Absolutely.
We are always ready.
Yes, and we are fortunate that we were introduced to this concept of physical literacy by our earlier principal, Professor Naina Nimkar, who had the opportunity to meet Professor Margaret Whitehead long back in Australia. And that's when she introduced this term to us. And it just got, we got intrigued with it, but we never really were keen on, like you mentioned, that we were more focused on physical education and health-based physical education and things like that. But now that we understand the relevance of spreading this concept of physical literacy, I think it's a wonderful amalgamation of all of us, and we're on the right track. Professor Karen, would you like to suggest some research that we could begin with?
Yes, I think that it just expands, on the previous comments about knowledge and understanding. It needs to go beyond. So it's not a case that we know what the concept is and we understand, but it's those next steps of, from a practitioner perspective of embedding it into their practice. And that's some of the research that I'm involved in Wales at the moment. So it's actually taking practitioners on a self-managed journey through physical literacy. So lots of people will be able to give the definition of physical literacy, but what does that mean from a practitioner perspective, and how can that be embedded into practice? So it's that next step of going beyond knowledge and understanding and putting that from a professional and a practitioner perspective. And just another thing is to consider is considering the experience and when does the experience start. So in terms of our offer, at what point does an individual engage in an activity? Is it the start of a session? Is it the start of when they become familiar or aware of a session or an activity? How is it communicated? How is it marketed? How is it sold? And by unpicking what the experience is going to be for an individual, how are they going to arrive at a destination? How are they going to be welcomed? So it goes beyond the holistic element of the actual session, but it's everything that's actually around the activities and the sessions as well. So that's something else that we could consider. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think we can begin with the practitioners themselves and some PE teachers who could be the lead subjects of this research. That's wonderful. Professor Nigel, would you like to throw light on this?
Yeah, just picking up on that. I think we've got to look at current practices. That's in relation to curriculum provision, it's in relation to teaching strategies, and it's in relation to how we chart progress or assess students. And we've got to look at the impact of that. What we've then got to do once we've introduced the concept is look at how teachers change their provision of the curriculum, how they change their strategies, and how they change their methods of assessment and charting progress. And I think that's really important, and how that then impacts on the engagement. I think I mentioned at the start, I was at a celebration meal last night, and there was a school there who'd won the secondary school prize effectively. And they were saying to us, what's really pleasing is students go to them at lunchtime and say, can we have a ball for this? Can we have table tennis bats for that? They go because they want to engage in physical activity during the lunch times when they have the opportunity to. And it's that positive attitude, not to go and sit on a computer or play on your phone, but to be physically active whenever you can, whenever the opportunity is there, that we're looking for. And that's very much an influence from their practices in physical education that has encouraged those people to feel good about themselves and to want to be physically active. So it's undertaking research from that point of view.
Okay, so there's a lot of thought process to get into, and I'm sure I will have to write a long email to Professor Pandey soon so that we can really think of some collaborative research together, because LNIP is a big institution, and we would love to, team up with them on this academic front as well.
Always ready, madam.
Yes, thank you, sir. Shirish, I think we have run out of time, but I had a few more questions, but I suppose I should stop. We can have such sessions again in the future as well. And this discussion is never going to end now. So I will thank all the panelists who who were part of this TD. I now hand it over back to Shirish and possibly Ankit.
Yes. Thank you, Shraddha ma'am. Now I request Ankit to take over.
There are a couple of questions related to the course. Ankit is going to.
You can take the questions, ma'am, before Ankit started detailing.
No, it's about the course. So.
Okay, so Ankit will clear all this kind of questions. Ankit, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Ankit. Ankit, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome
Yes,
to
Ankit,
all the
we can hear you.
panelists, dignitaries, and congratulations once again to both the institutes, Chandrasekhar Agache College of Physical Education and International Physical Literacy Association UK on this course. I'm just giving a quick information about how to apply. There's a course information brochure available on agachecollege.org website. You have to fill out the enrollment form. The form link we are putting right now in the chat box. After filling the form, you will receive a call or a WhatsApp from a team. You'll be requesting you information, any doubts about the course will be cleared. And then you have to confirm your admission by paying a fee of INR 15,000 only, which is an inaugural launch offer of this course fee, which is at originally at 20,000. The launch offer is at 15,000 only. For any queries or inquiries, you can write to us at extension@agachecollege.org or call or WhatsApp us on 76200-51998. I'm just putting in the link on the chat, these details in the chat. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. Now I request Shraddha ma'am to propose vote of thanks.
Wow. So we've come to the end of this webinar, is it? Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So this is a very formal thing, but let me still take this privilege to thank all of you who have come together here for this webinar. Firstly, let me thank Professor Margaret Whitehead for, coming up with this concept and making us do something new. So thank you, ma'am, Professor Margaret. Thank you, Professor Nigel Green. I met Nigel Green in the year 2 years back at Jaipur, and that's when we really got connected with this concept, and also we had a lot of discussion, and finally something is happening. So I'm really glad about it. I thank Professor Karen, who's going to be the lead educator, and we're going to learn a lot from both of you. So there's no end to learning, so we are very keen on that. I especially thank Professor Vivek Pandey for having set the time out of his busy schedule. He's the Vice Chancellor of LNIP Gwalior, and I know how busy he is. Sir, thank you once again for your time. I must also thank our management head, Rohan Damle sir, because he's always there. He is like, he will never say no to anything new. He says, you keep trying new things, try to, go ahead with a lot of experiments and innovations and things like that. So thank you, Rohan sir. I must also thank Dr. Amit Malik, who has been tirelessly working on this and continuous discussions. He never gets tired of talking about PL. And the other day I was talking to Shirish. I mean, he has never uttered a single negative word so far. And that's really commendable. I thank Dr. Amit, I thank you very much. And I thank our principal, Dr. Sopan Kangane, who is always encouraging us and promoting us to try out new ideas. Thank you so much, Principal Sopan Kangane, sir. Thank you once again. Because of you, we are able to try out new things. I must not forget to thank all the participants, Dr. Sonali Talavalikar for specially joining despite of her busy schedule. Thank you, Sonali ma'am. Your enthusiasm is never ending, and that's something that we must learn from you. I should thank Ankit for all the support, all the PowerPoint presentations and wonderful marketing ideas and designs. And I will fail in my duties if I don't thank Dr. Shirish More for bringing us all together. And I once again thank all the attendees, all the panelists on behalf of Chandrasekhar Agache College of Physical Education. And I look forward to having continued association with you all. Thank you once again. That's all from me.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
I think we can stop the recording.
Manish sir, recording stop करा. Hello. मनीष सर आवाज येतोय का? हॅलो मॅम, आपण थांबूयात मग. मनीष सर.
Hello. Hello.
रेकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप केलं तरी चालेल. हॅलो.
केलं सर.
येस येस. आणि लिंक